Afternoon, everyone. It's Matt here. But being World Suicide Prevention Day, I thought I'd record my experiences with suicide attempts in the past. Um, I've struggled, as anybody knows, listening to the show, my entire adult life with my mental health. Um, I've been suicidal probably quite a few times in that period. I've came dangerously close, like twice, and I just wanted to kind of cover them a wee bit. Um, the first time when I lived in my early 20s, I had no concept of what my mental health was or what good mental health looked like. I drank, I partied, you know, was just a young guy living on his own. Um, and it kind of got on top of us after a couple of years, to the point where I did kind of break away from the circle of friends that I was hanging about with, palling about with, because drug use was a big thing in that group of people. No harm to any of them, you know what I mean. Like, it was my choice, but to kind of like try and minimise the impact that drugs were having on my life at that point, I had to step away. And I had a sort of 3 4 month period where I deleted my phone numbers, I shut the door, and I basically just had to try and get off of like the coke for a start. Um, Things got pretty dark during that period of time. Um, Isolation, withdrawal, depression, all rolled into one, and I started burning myself because it was the only thing that made me really feel anything at that point in time. Um, that went on for quite a while. I was putting cigarettes out on myself, on my legs, burning myself with lighters. It was the only release I could get. So it was like, I don't know any other way to explain it, to be honest with you. Um, I'd never had any issues with self harm prior to that, and thankfully, never since either. After a few months, um, it got really bad, and I was when I decided the first time to kill myself. I was in my bathroom in Arton Road, ready to go, standing over the sink with a smashed up Mac 3 razor, ready to open up my arms and go to sleep. And my phone went. Um, and I don't even know why I picked it up, to be honest with you. You know what I mean? Because I was in a really weird kind of like autopilot kind of state where once the decision was made, it was almost like I was standing outside myself watching it happen. But I did pick up the phone, and it was one of the guys that was amongst this circle of friends that I'd stepped away from, and he hadn't heard from me for 2 or 3 months, and he decided that he was going to check in on me, and like he doesn't even know that this is the case, to be honest with you. But we're no close now, years later. But that phone call saved my life. Um, we spoke for like half hour, 45 minutes on the phone, just a general catch up, not even like talking about feelings or any of that kind of stuff like that. And on the other side of it, the razor got swept up into the bin. Um, it was a few years before I ever really like was able to talk to anybody about that. Um, it's difficult, you know what I mean? Like even in the mid state, I couldn't have that conversation with a guy who was clearly worried about me. Um, as the years passed, like the second time, I was in a much happier place. Um, I had my wife, my daughter. You know, we had our house, we were settled, and working away with careers, and I had a really bad, bad manic episode. And on the other side of that, I had a depressive crash, and this was as deep. a sort of depressive crash as I think I've ever seen. Thankfully, at that point, I was more in control. I'd started to learn a wee bit more about myself and my condition, and I knew that I had to go and speak to a GP, and I did. And I was walking along Royston Road to my doctor, and I crossed a motorway bridge. And although I was depressed and I was in a bad way, I wasn't conscious of having felt suicidal at that point. Um, or maybe I hadn't, I was just in denial. I don't know. Both are just as capable, just as probable. Um, as I crossed the motorway bridge, that outer body kind of experience came back to me, and I felt like I was standing, or even no standing, but kind of floating above myself on the motorway bridge, watching this image of me going over the side and hitting the concrete and going under a lorry. And in that moment, it was the most peaceful, the most contented I'd felt in months probably. And as I came back into my body, you know, I I felt myself edging towards the barrier, and almost excitement. I was almost excited to end it, even though having been conscious of that was how I was feeling. I don't know, it's probably a horrible way to describe it, but the notion that there was going to be an end, that there was going to be peace, was all that was consuming me at that point. And thankfully, I don't know how, I think just sheer need to survive got me off that bridge and into my GP surgery, where I just completely broke down. Like, it was all the elation and peacefulness that I felt was coming my way by going over the side just melted away, and how ridiculous a notion that was, and just how grateful I was in that doctor's surgery to actually still be alive. And it's weird because it's felt like a legitimate way out to me twice, and I've came dangerously close twice. But now, with hindsight, I can see, as people say all the time, that suicide is it's a it's a permanent solution to a temporary problem. Um, I think things like World Suicide Prevention Day are important, and I think that's why I've kind of taken this wee opportunity to put this together today. It's important to me to share my experiences and to say to people, like, it's there's a way out. Like, you can do it. Like, people do it every day. I've done it every day. Done it twice, where it was really it mattered the most. Like, there are people there who need you and love you and want to support you through this process of getting better. There's some amazing organisations out there. You know, we're big fans of Brothers in Arms. Um, the work they do is absolutely phenomenal. But now we see, especially through the podcast over the last 18 months, like, loads of groups that take peer-to-peer care really seriously. Guys like Ryan, who's taken over, Gary Fall's old group. The guys at Time to Tackle and so on and so forth. Like, there's armies of people out there now who want to help you. And I think now more than ever, with those resources available, like, take the chance and, like, reach out to somebody and speak, because the alternative is just absolutely fucking horrifying. I hope this finds anybody who needs to hear it well, and obviously if at any point anybody wants to talk to me, or anybody that we know about their experience with this type of thing, all they ever need to do is just hit us up, and we'll do what we can to help put you in touch with somebody that can really help. Thanks, and do everything you can to stay with us.